All right, the fourth dance in our beginning line dance series is Fly Me to the Moon by Rosie Multari, 32 count, 4-wall beginner level line dance. Now this dance is going to have quite a few new steps in it that we haven't done in the other dances so far. So it's going to take us a little bit of time to go over those, but let's get started. All right, so the first, it starts out with what we call a lock. And that's usually done a little bit at a diagonal, whether it's a right lock or a left lock, just a little bit of a diagonal. And you step forward on your right. We're going to do a right lock. Step forward on your right, lock your left behind, step forward again, and frequently you brush your left foot. Not always, but and sometimes it's so quick with the music that you can hardly see it, but it does work out well to do that. So step, lock, step, brush. So it's just you're stepping your step out on your right, your left behind, then step on your left, right goes out and brush. Okay, so that's a right lock. Step behind, step, brush. Same thing to the left. And we're going to do the left right after. I'm going to have to move back here. I want my feet in the video, but I'm running out of room. So step behind, step, brush, and that brush is kind of the first step of the left lock. That's why sometimes you don't really see it. So again, it's step behind, step, then step behind. Let me count that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? So again, step behind, step, brush, step behind, step, brush. So let's just practice that for a few minutes. Step behind, step, brush, step behind, step, brush. A couple more times. Step behind, step, brush, step behind, step, brush. Okay, one more time. Step behind, step, brush, step behind, step, brush. Okay, so we do a right lock, a left lock. I'm going to move back a little bit so I have a little more room. Then we're going to do what we call a rocking chair. So this is a right rocking chair. So my weight is on my left foot. I just rock forward and rock back. That's it. Rocking chair, forward, back. So it's just forward and back. So a lot of times we say, you use the word recover, which means you just go back to your original foot. So now my weight's on my left. I'm going to rock forward on my right, recover on my left, rock back on my right, recover on my left. And that recover just means that's where your weight goes. So rock forward, recover, back, recover. So that's 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a rocking chair. Okay, so let's do the locks and then add the rocking chair. So step behind, step, brush, step behind, step, brush, rock forward, recover, back, recover. And you notice when I do those brushes and the locks, I'm kind of almost turning to the left there a little bit. So step behind, step, brush, and that little turn there prepares me to do the left lock. Step behind, step, brush, and this time I kind of face forward again, rock, recover, back, recover. So right lock, right rocking chair. Step behind, step, brush, step behind, step, brush, rock, recover, back, recover. All right? Do that a couple more times. Step behind, step, brush, step behind, step, brush, rock, recover, back, recover. Again, step behind, step, brush, step behind, step, brush, rocking chair. All right, so after we do the right lock, left lock, the right rocking chair, we're going to be turning to the back of the room. And so what we're going to do is what's called a pivot. So I'm going to plant my left foot, my weight's on my left. I'm going to pivot a quarter of a turn to my left, and then another quarter turn to my left. So I'm going to go pivot and pivot. My right foot, it moves. I mean, I never take my weight off my right. I'm just pivoting on, or excuse me, I never take my weight off my left foot. I'm just pivoting on my left foot. So here I am. Here I am. My weight's on my left. And pivot, pivot. All right. So again, your weight continually stays on your left. You're just using your right foot to push you around. So pivot and pivot. All right. So let's add that on to our what we were doing. So we do the right lock, left lock, left lock, a right rocking chair, and then those two pivots, pivot and pivot. Okay? Let's do that again before we do the next part. So right lock, left lock, and then the right rocking chair, and then the two pivots, pivot and pivot. Now the next part, we're going to be facing the back the first time we do it, but I'm going to turn my back to you so you can see it, because this is a little tricky. We're going to do a weave like we did in Star Ring Waltz. We're going to go to the left first, so our weight's on our left. We go over, step, behind, and this time we have a point. Remember in Star Ring Waltz it was only 3 counts because it was a waltz. Now it's 4 counts, so the 4th count is that point. So here our weight's on our left. We go over, step, behind, point. Let's do that again. Weight on our left, over, step, behind, point. Now we're going to do the exact same thing to the right. Our weight's on our right this time. Over, step, behind, point. So let's just practice that a few times. Over, step, behind, point. Over, step, behind, point. Okay, so here we go again. Over, step, behind, point. Over, step, behind, point. One more time. Over, step, behind, point. Over, step, behind, point. At this time, we're going to do what we call cross points. Our weight's on our left. We're going to cross, point, cross, point. So let's just practice that whole thing. Start out with the weave and the point. 1, 2, 3, point, over, step, behind, point, cross, point, cross, point. We have one more step before we finish, but let's just practice this some more. Over, step, behind, point, over, step, behind, point. Now the cross points, cross, point, cross, point. Let's do that a few more times. Over, step, behind, point, over, step, behind, point, cross, point, cross, point. We end with what's called a jazz box, which we haven't done before. So a jazz box can be right or left. This one is right. Most of them are right, with right over left. So you're kind of making a box with your feet. You're going to go over, step, step, together. Okay, so the jazz box. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You notice how my feet are kind of making a box. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's called a jazz box. I was so excited once when we were watching Dancing with the Stars, and I can never have no idea what they're doing, but it looks beautiful. But one time they said, okay, here's a jazz box. I thought, whoa, I know that. Anyway, that's the only thing I knew. So here we go. Over, step, behind, point. Over, step, behind, together, sorry. Over, step, behind. Oh, forget my words. They're terrible here. Over, step, step, together. Over, step, step, together. Over, step, step, together. So you just need to keep practicing that. Now, unfortunately, the jazz box in this dance, which happens frequently, is a turning jazz box because that's what gets you to your next wall. So A turning jazz box is just the same, but we make a quarter turn, in this case a quarter turn to the right. So over, step, turn, together. Okay, let's practice that. So over, step, turn, together. Okay, over, step, turn, together. So let's do that whole part with the weaves and the cross points and the turning jazz box. Remember, we're not going to be facing the front the first time we do that, but that's okay. We'll practice it. So we go over, step, behind, point, over, step, behind, point, cross, point, cross, point. The turning jazz box, over, step, turn, together. Okay, let's practice that a few times. Over, step, behind, point, over, step, behind, point, cross, point, cross, point, over, step, turn, together. Let's do it 2 more times, and then we're going to do it, we'll add it on, but we'll be facing the back when we do that part the first time. So right lock, left lock, step, behind, step, scuff, step, behind, step. Scuff the rocking chair forward and back. The pivots, pivot, pivot. Now here we go. Over, step, behind, point, over, step, behind, point, cross, point, turning jazz, over, step, turn, together. And that's the whole dance. And there's no tags or restarts in this one. So it's just learning that much and keeping it going. And it's 4 walls, so this would be our next wall. But let's do the first one several times, and then we'll try the second wall. So the right lock, left lock, the right rocking chair, the 2/4 pivots to the left, and then the weave. Over, step, behind, point, over, step, behind, point, cross, point, turning jazz, over, step, turn, together. All right, let's do this one more time, and then we'll try the second wall. Right lock, left lock, step, behind, step, brush, step, behind, step, brush. The right rocking chair forward and back, 2/4 pivots to the left, and then the weave. Over, step, behind, point, over, step, behind, point, cross, point, turning jazz, over, step, turn, together. All right, let's try this wall. The right lock, left lock, step, behind, step, scuff, step, behind, step, scuff. The right rocking chair, the 2/4 pivots to the left, and here we go with our weave. Over, step, behind, point, over, step, behind, point, cross, point, jazz. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so now we're going to start, our next wall is facing the back, but when we do that hard part, you're facing the front so you can see. So let's do the right lock. I'm going to move back here a little bit. Right lock, left lock. The right rocking chair, forward and back. The 2/4 pivots to the left, and then the weave. Over, step, behind, point, over, step, behind, point, cross, point, turning jazz, over, step, turn, together. All right, let's try the third wall. 1, 2, 3, fourth wall. So the right lock, left lock, left lock, the right rocking chair, 1/4 pivots to the left, and then the weave. Over, step, behind, point, over, step, behind, point, cross, point, and the turning jazz box, over, step, turn, together. Okay, it's a little faster, they always are, so let's try to speed it up a little bit. So it's right lock, left lock, the right rocking chair forward and back, 2/4 pivots to the left, then the weave. Over, step, behind, point, over, step, behind, point, cross, point, turning jazz, over, step, turn, together. Right lock, left lock, right rocking chair, 2/4 pivots to the left, then the weave. overstep, behind, point, overstep, behind, point, cross, point, and the jazz. 1, 2, 3 for locks. Right lock, left lock, right rocking chair, 2/4 pivots to the left, and the weave, overstep, behind, point, overstep, behind, point, cross, point, turning jazz. 1, 2, 3 for locks. Right lock, left lock, right rocking chair, 2/4 pivots to the left, then the weave, 1, 2, 3, point, over, 2, 3, point, cross, and jazz. 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's try it to music. We'll try it a couple times because this is that one part's a little trickier and it is fairly fast. So this is called Fly Me to the Moon. Don't know who can't remember who sings this one. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Now, oh, that's scooterly, that's right, rocking chair. 1/4 pivots, weave, overstep, behind, point, cross points, turning jazz, locks, rocking chair on the right, 2/4 pivots to the left, and here goes our weave, 1, 2, 3, point, turning jazz, locks, rocking chair, 1/4 pivots, 1, 2, 3, point, locks, rocking chair, pivot, cross points, start over, 1/4 pivots, weave, cross points, turning jazz, locks, rocking chair, 1/4 pivots, weave, cross points, rocking chair, 2/4 pivots, weave, cross points, turning jazz, locks, rocking chair, 1/4 pivots, weave, cross points, rocking chair, cross points, locks, rocking chair,
love you.
Okay, as I'm doing this one, I'm thinking, oh, this is a little harder than some of the others. It's just because it's fast, and until you have those steps down really firmly in your mind, it's tricky. Let's go around the room one more time, and then we'll try it again. So right lock, left lock, a right rocking chair, forward recover, back recover, 2/4 pivots to the left, then the weave, overstep, behind, point, overstep, behind, point, cross, turning jazz, and locks, right rocking chair, 2/4 pivots to the left, and then the weave, overstep, behind, point, overstep, behind, point, cross, and turning jazz box. Right locks, left lock, right rocking chair, quarter pivots to the left, then weave, overstep behind, point, overstep behind, point, cross, point, turning jazz. And right lock, left lock, right rocking chair, 2 quarter pivots to the left, then the weave, overstep behind, point, overstep behind, point, cross, point, turning jazz. Okay, let's try it one more time. Here we go. Right lock, rocking chair, 2 quarter pivots, weave, back, cross points, turning jazz, locks, rocking chair, 2 quarter pivots to the left, weave, cross points, rocking chair on the right, 2 quarter pivots to the left, weave, turning jazz, locks, rocking chair, rocking chair, quarter pivots, weave to the left, cross points, locks, rocking chair on the right, quarter pivots, weave to the left, cross points, turning jazz, rocking chair on the right, quarter pivots, weave, cross points, turning jazz, rocking chair, pivots, weave, cross points, rocking chair, cross points, turning jazz. That one might take you a few more practices, huh? All right, good luck.